All right, let's dive into this conversation about beauty and societal expectations. Kind of fascinating stuff.
Yeah, we're listening in on two friends, Reka and Robin.
Okay.
Just a casual chat, but they get into everything from this like prettier classmates we all remember
Oh, yeah?
to like the pressures of finding a partner when looks seem to matter so much these days, you know?
Totally. And right away, they challenge that whole beauty is only skin deep thing.
Right. Like what actually makes someone beautiful?
Yeah, what they say.
Well, they bring up things like personality, kindness, even a sense of humor.
Huh. So it's more than just outward appearance.
Exactly. It's like beauty's this whole package deal.
I like that.
Oh, and they talk about Rika's friend Lily, who struggles with the self-esteem.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, and they're trying to figure out ways to help her out.
That's really sweet of them. Shows how much they care.
It does, and it makes you realize, like, supporting each other is huge, especially with something as personal as body image.
For sure. It makes me think confidence can be more attractive than trying to fit some mold.
Totally. And Rika actually says, quote, confidence is the key to beauty.
Ooh, I love that. It's about that inner strength.
Yeah, like self-assurance shines through and makes you even more magnetic, I think.
It's about owning who you are.
Absolutely. And this actually leads into this whole comparison they make between talent and beauty.
Interesting what they say.
Well, they see talent as something lasting. You build it up over time.
Great sense.
But beauty, in their view, it can be fleeting.
Like it fades.
Exactly. They do say that having both beauty and talent is a winning combo, though.
Sure, I bet.
But it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
right, about all the amazing people who might get overlooked just because they don't fit typical beauty standards.
That's a really good point. And they do talk about those societal standards head on. Even plastic surgery comes up.
Yeah, they don't shy away from it, but they're also realistic about the potential risks and downsides.
Yeah, got to weigh those carefully.
For sure. And it's more about recognizing that pressure to conform, and maybe considering if embracing natural beauty might actually be more fulfilling in the long run.
So it's about accepting ourselves imperfections and all.
Exactly. And this ties in perfectly with what they say about celebrating diversity.
Love that.
They're challenging those unrealistic norms we see everywhere and saying, hey, let's embrace what makes each of us unique.
Yeah, like our differences are what make us special.
Totally. They even talk about being role models for self-acceptance, especially for the younger generation.
Such a powerful message.
It really is. And then the conversation takes a bit of a serious turn as they get into this whole thing about dowry.
Dowry. Okay, so for anyone who's not familiar.
They define it as basically the money, goods, property that a bride's family gives to the groom's family.
Like a financial transaction as part of the marriage?
Yeah, and they point out something pretty disturbing. Dowry is actually illegal in a lot of places, but it's still happening.
Wow, that's messed up.
And the potential consequences are seriously worrying, they say, like unfair treatment and even abuse if those dowry demands aren't met.
It's heartbreaking. It makes you realize how much pressure and inequality still exists in some cultures.
It does. But the good news is they don't just leave us hanging with the problem. They offer up some potential solutions.
Oh, good. What kind of things?
Well, Reka and Robin emphasize how important open communication with family is, knowing your rights, even seeking legal advice if it comes to that.
Wow, yeah, you got to stand up for yourself.
Exactly. It all comes back to prioritizing your own self-worth.
Because nobody should have to, buy their way into a marriage.
For sure. They also talk about education and financial independence being powerful tools, especially for women.
To give them the power to resist those pressures.
Exactly. It's about empowering women to make their own choices. And this leads to this whole idea they have about broader societal change. Like, we need to shift away from these transactional marriages.
And move toward relationships based on love and respect.
Precisely. Love, respect, not financial considerations. It's a message that really speaks to anyone who's ever felt that pressure from society.
Totally.
Whether it's about beauty, marriage, or anything else.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah. From challenging those traditional ideas of beauty to these complexities of dowry, this conversation's give us a lot to think about.
It really has.
Yeah.
What stood out to you so far?
Well, I'm really drawn to their emphasis on self-love and kindness.
Me too.
And challenging those societal norms that try to put us all in these neat little boxes.
Yes. Like, we have the power to define beauty and worth on our own terms.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this conversation so powerful. It's a reminder that we can break free from those limiting beliefs and embrace our authentic
I
selves.
love that. It feels like a great starting point for our next part, where we can dig deeper into the challenges they raised and explore how to create a more inclusive world.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. We'll be right back after a short break.
See you soon.
Welcome back. We left off talking about that pressure to fit into these societal beauty standards.
Yeah, and Reika and Robin actually connected that back to those feelings of inadequacy we talked about, like comparing ourselves to classmates, remember?
Oh yeah, those early experiences.
It's kind of fascinating how they break it down. Like, even those seemingly small moments, like feeling less attractive than someone else,
Yeah.
they can actually shape how we see beauty years later, you know?
It's like we internalize those messages, they become these self-fulfilling prophecies almost.
Exactly. And then they bring up the media's role in all this.
Oh, for sure.
Like how we're constantly bombarded with these images and messages that reinforce this very specific standard of beauty, and it's often like totally unattainable.
It's everywhere. Magazines, movies, social media. Hard to escape.
You can't. No wonder people struggle with body image and self-esteem, right? We're always comparing ourselves to these like airbrushed, perfectly posed images.
Which is so often far from reality.
Right, so fake.
Mm.
And it's not just about feeling inadequate, they say.
No.
It's about the exclusion of anyone who doesn't fit that narrow mold. Like, these unrealistic standards can actually fuel prejudice and discrimination, they argue.
Wow, based on.
Race, ethnicity, body type, even age.
It's like saying, if you don't look like this, you're not worthy, which is so messed up.
It is. But then Reika and Robin offer this really powerful antidote.
I'm listening.
They're all about a more inclusive, diverse definition of beauty, like challenging those harmful norms and celebrating the beauty in our differences, you know?
It's about changing our whole perspective, isn't it?
Exactly. Instead of chasing this impossible ideal, it's about appreciating those unique qualities that make each person beautiful.
Love it.
They're basically challenging us to break free from those limiting beliefs, embrace our authentic selves.
Self-acceptance and self-love music to my ears.
Right. And it goes beyond just how we see ourselves, too.
Oh, interesting.
They talk about kindness, empathy, respect, and how we interact with others, like regardless of appearance.
So important.
Creating a culture of inclusivity where everyone feels valued. That's the key, they say.
Totally agree. We need to be mindful of the language we use,
Right.
the messages we send.
Even non-verbally.
It's about creating that welcoming environment for everyone.
For sure. And that whole role model idea Reika and Robin bring up, crucial.
Yeah, how so?
Like, if we want a world where beauty is celebrated in all its diversity, we got to embody those values ourselves.
Lead by example.
Hmm.
Show that true beauty goes way beyond what's on the surface.
Exactly. It's about character, kindness, compassion, how we treat each other.
Exactly.
And they emphasize how important this is for younger generations, those who are still figuring themselves out.
Makes sense. They're so impressionable.
Right. They need to see positive representations of beauty that reflect the real world, a world full of, diverse faces, bodies, identities.
They need to know they don't have to conform to be considered beautiful or worthy.
Totally. It's about empowering them to embrace their individuality, celebrate those unique qualities.
Yeah. And to achieve that, they talk about needing more diversity in media representation.
Oh, absolutely. More diverse faces and bodies in magazines, movies, TV, online, everywhere.
Normalizing the idea that beauty comes in all forms.
Exactly. And that can have such a ripple effect on society.
Wow.
It challenges those deep-seated biases and stereotypes. It helps us move towards a more inclusive and accepting world.
Where everyone feels seen and valued. I like that.
Me too.
Earlier, Reika and Robin also talked about talent being this lasting thing, contrasting it with physical beauty, which they see as more fleeting.
Yeah, they argued that talent can't be taken away. Unlike beauty, it's something we develop over time, something to be proud of.
It's ours.
Exactly. And while they acknowledge the power of having both beauty and talent, they raised a good point
What's that?
about how unfair it is that people who might be super talented get overlooked if they don't fit conventional beauty standards.
Yeah, it's a tough reality.
It is. And it challenges us to confront our own biases, question those societal norms that perpetuate inequality.
It really does.
Yeah.
This whole conversation, it's been so casual and insightful at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
It reminds us that we have the power to challenge those limiting beliefs, work towards a more inclusive world.
I love that. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm feeling hopeful.
Me too.
They remind us that change is possible. We can create a world where beauty isn't defined by those narrow standards.
But by the richness and diversity of human
Yeah.
experience.
Exactly. And I think that sets us up perfectly to talk about some practical steps.
Ooh, yeah.
In our final part, we'll dive into what we can actually do to challenge these harmful beauty norms and really promote self-acceptance.
Love it. Can't wait to get into that. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking with Reka and Robin about beauty and confidence, all those pressures from society.
Yeah, it's been eye-opening.
But now I want to get practical,
Mhm.
like what can we actually do about it?
Well, Reka and Robin had some good ideas. One that stuck with me was being more mindful of what we're taking in, like online.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff on social media.
Especially that, right? It's so easy to just scroll through these perfect images and
And get sucked in.
totally. But we got to remember, a lot of that's filtered, edited, not real life.
So true. We need to, be more critical of what we're seeing.
Exactly. Ask yourself, is this image promoting a healthy body image?
Is it diverse? Or is it just the same old
Yeah,
stereotype?
some questions. And it's not just what we see, but what we put out there ourselves.
Oh, right, what we share.
Are we adding to the negativity? Or are we using our platforms to actually lift people up?
Like Reka and Robin said, be role models, especially for younger folks.
So important. Show them that it's okay to be different.
Love yourself, imperfections and all.
Celebrate what makes you you.
And while we're doing that individually, we can push for bigger changes too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Reka and Robin talked about challenging those institutions, the industries that push those harmful standards in the first place.
Like the media, advertising, fashion,
All of them. We need more diversity, more representation across the board.
and education. They said open communication,
Right. Talking about these issues, it can make a difference.
raising awareness, challenging those old beliefs.
Creating space for a more inclusive idea of beauty.
Love it. Now, for anyone out there struggling with body image, self-esteem,
Reka and Robin wanted to remind everyone there's help out there.
yeah, therapists, support groups, online
The
communities,
people who get it, who can support you.
you are not alone.
And that's such an important message.
It is. So we've gone deep into this conversation, but what does it all mean for the listener?
It's a call to action, I think. Be aware of what you're seeing, what you're sharing. Challenge those norms. Celebrate diversity.
Embrace your individuality, empower others. Let's create a world where everyone feels seen, valued, beautiful exactly as they are.
That's a great way to put it. This whole exploration of beauty, confidence, those pressures,
It's been a journey.
it really has. And I think we've all learned a lot along the way. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
And remember, true beauty comes from within.